So I thought, I'll live, it goes up straight away. Just to let you know, in my household, we're now social isolating because of the coronavirus. The kids are out of school. My other half is now working from home. I'm trying to not go anywhere unless I really need to, other than to get food and stuff, simply because my underlying health issues and my son's underlying health issues, I really don't want to get it. I really, really want to stay away from this virus if I can. There's been very few cases. Apparently, we don't know because we're not testing that well in the UK, which is rubbish. Very few cases in my area in Shropshire. There's been lots of rumours. Some schools have been deep cleaned and this, that, and the other. But, excuse me, it's not a COVID cough, don't worry. And so we just don't really know. It could be surrounded by thousands of people. There could be like 2 people, which is the official numbers. Years ago when swine flu did the rounds, and it was probably the worst illness I've ever had. I was in excruciating pain and couldn't breathe, and I imagine it was very similar to what water torture was like, because I just felt like I couldn't breathe, I was drowning. And if coronavirus is going to affect me like swine flu, then it could quite easily finish me off. It's seriously, so I really want to stay well clear of it. So yeah, we're social distancing now. Supermarkets are mental around here. I'm finding the small supermarkets are the small like greengrocers, butchers, this and the other, they seem to be fine, and we should go and support them because they're going to get smashed with the financial economic fallout from all this. They're the people that are going to go under. The big supermarkets, Asda, Sainsbury's and Tesco's, they're all currently empty of stock. You can't get very much because people are panic buying. Excuse me. But the issue is they've got massive warehouses full of stock. They've got loads of money, loads of invested. Most of them are owned by investment banks. Those big supermarkets are not going to go under. So go to your little shops, get your shopping from there. It might cost you a bit more and this and the other, but support the little companies. And they seem to have food at the moment because people aren't going to the little corner shops, especially around here. So go to them, get some food, support them, and do what the government say. I mean, I know it's different all around the world, and I have my own opinions on the UK government right now, and it's not great. Hi Rach, how you doing? But follow the advice, distance yourself, keep away from vulnerable family members. And remember, and this is really important, because Sainsbury's have announced today, they're the first supermarket to do it properly, and well done Sainsbury's for this. Sainsbury's have turned out and they've said that they're going to allow the first hour for elderly and vulnerable and disabled people to go there and do a shop, which is fantastic. Because look, but it's really important that people understand that it's not just old people that are affected. I am affected, so is my 13-year-old son. He would be affected too, right? We have underlying health issues that we've got to look after our lungs. Okay, day to day we're not serious, this, that, and the other, but we can get a chest infection. We can get a chest infection. It can go down really quickly, so we've got to be really careful about this sort of thing. And obviously, I'm 36, he's 13, so sometimes when I go to the shop and I'm buying stuff, you can see the glares, you can see the stares, and it's like, oh, you doing here, blah blah blah, you shouldn't be buying all those tins of baked beans. I haven't bought loads of tins of baked beans for a long time, but anyway. And it's like, well, yeah, because I don't want to be out in the shops. I really don't want to be out in the shops when this all kicks off and this gets absolutely mental. So just remember, it's not just elderly people with underlying issues, people with asthma, diabetes. They could be 18, 19, 20. They could be, like me, a little bit panicky right now because we don't really know what's going on. We're getting conflicting messages from the government, we're getting conflicting messages from the NHS. Initially we were told that it's flu-like symptoms, there's nothing to worry about, blah blah blah. Now we're literally seeing countries locked down, and it's like something to do with The Walking Dead. It is absolutely crazy, absolutely crazy. I went to Farm Foods yesterday. Those in the UK probably don't know what Farm Foods is. It doesn't sound it sounds posh. It's not. It's basically a freezer shop. It's just full of freezers and everything in there's froze. Don't know why it's called Farm Foods, but it is. Anyway, I went there, every single freezer was empty. I kid you not, every single freezer was empty. There was just rubbish littered around the place. Like, you got the odd bag of this. I managed to pick up like a bag of lamb chops. I managed to pick up some horrible chicken joint breast thing. But I had to buy it because, we were out, our fridge was empty. We were out of fresh food. I've got canned, I've got rice, I've got stuff like that. We're good. But we just had no fresh stuff. So it went there and I couldn't believe it. And then I went to the Co-op, which is a slightly bigger chain, for those of you who don't know, of supermarkets. And all they had was their like luxury gourmet stuff. They had the expensive bacon, the expensive sausages, this, that, and the other. All their basic range, most of their bread had gone. It was absolutely crazy. Buy meat on a line for delivery. Tried that at Asda. And this is not me panic buying, I put £100 order in for Asda to be delivered. Asda is our equivalent of Walmart for any Americans out there. I put £100 order in. A day later, I had an email to say my order was slashed because of out of stock, and it went down from £100 to just over £60. So almost 40% of my order had been just gone. In the end, we took the decision, like, if this keeps happening, by the time, and this is another thing, we couldn't deliver for a week. So we put the order in on Monday. It wasn't going to be delivered till the weekend, which was madness, because you can normally get a delivery almost the next day, if not the day after. Absolutely crazy. So in the end, we took the decision, in the day, took the decision, we're just going to go and try and find what we can. So we got random stuff. We'll be fine. We'll have some strange meals. We might have lamb chops and rice. I don't really care. Like rice, the kids like lamb. It's all good. So, but yeah, I think it's just a case of everyone's just going to have to accept that you're probably not going to get the things you want, and you're probably going to have to make do and mend a little bit, when it comes to food, because we're told the supply chain is fine, and we're told that the UK's got tons of food, but we're told that literally they just can't get it on the shelves quick enough because people are panic buying. But the thing is, I get why people are panic buying, because at the end of the day, like me, I don't want to go out, so I want to do like 2-3 weeks worth of food shopping so I can like stay in the house. And I've kind of got that now, apart from fresh stuff. So all I'm going to do is assess it on a weekly basis now. And at the end of the week, when the fridge is down of fresh stuff, I'm going to look around and say, right, where can I go early in the morning or late at night when there's not many people around, and I can run into a shop, grab some fruit and vegetables, and then bugger off again, or my other half can do that, or whatever we can, because it's just crazy. They're saying it's like the biggest crisis in the UK since the war, and well, I'm lost for words basically, because it is. It's I've never experienced anything like this. Never in my life have I gone to a supermarket and seen them empty. It's just crazy. Sorry for the buffer. And we're all talking like, mate of mine is like, he's had to stock up on milk because he's got a newborn in his house, and he's like, oh yeah, like 12 weeks worth of baby powder. He says, because I can't risk running out of it. Other mates of mine have got kids of similar age to me, and they're all saying the same thing. Like one mate, and then obviously this isn't serious. One mate was like, yeah, I had to have corn sausages the other day because that's the only thing I could find. And he's like not a vegetarian. But it's just bizarre that we're so used to be able to get what we want when we want it, and now all of a sudden we can't. It's crazy, absolutely madness. I don't know why the country isn't locked down. I don't know why the schools are still open, but obviously we've taken our kids out now. It's mental. But I just wanted to keep you all updated, because we're still going to the allotment. I was down the allotment the other day with the kids, and we planted loads of seeds and stuff, and it was really cool, and we had a great day on our own down the allotment. Nobody else was there. The other day I was down the allotment, and one of my allotment buddies came over, and the first thing they said was like, don't worry, I'll stay this side of the fence. So we spoke to each other from like meters away. But it's bizarre. I mean, my grandparents are on lockdown because they're old. My other half's grandparents are on lockdown because they're old. My mom's not very well. She's fine. She's at home, but she's same condition as me, so she's got to look after herself. She's got this cough, and had a temperature, and the NHS has just said stay at home, which now means that my dad, who works at a village, he has now been told that he's got to stay at home, and he is bored to tears because he's quite an active guy. The job he does, he's on his feet all day and he's walking around, and now he's sitting at home apparently buying trainers off eBay because he's bored. But it's just bizarre. I mean, so far, fingers crossed, so good. It's just, it's not serious here in Shropshire, or it doesn't feel serious yet. And I don't think a lot of people are taking it. Good advice, no venues where too many chemo. Oh, I missed that. Hang on a second. I'll pull the chat up. Sorry, guys, because I'm doing my own live chat messages. Okay. The government's advice to venues when too many people accumulate. Asda is hexing with people panicking. Oh, mate, it is. Yeah, it's crazy. UK butcher. Oh, yeah, the butcher box type thing. Yeah, we've got something very We used to do something very similar to that, and I will do it again. But like I said, the butchers seem to be okay, the butchers. So worst comes to the worst, we'll go there. But I can do without meat as long as we've got beans, we've got rice, we've got some fruit and veg. I'll be good. Like I said, I've got a mini stash of dried stuff for if we're desperate for a few days, excuse me, if we're desperate for a few weeks, then it's all good. It's all it's brilliant. But I'm just trying to keep topped up with fresh things, because at the end of the day as well, you've got to stay healthy, haven't you? You don't want to run yourself into the ground, and then you haven't got the strength to fight the virus off. So it's I'm trying to at the moment it's like the kids, it's like, right, we're eating healthy, we're not wasting any food. It's like because we don't know where this is going to go. In 2 weeks' time, am I going to run through all my supplies, and are the supermarkets going to be empty? And no one really knows, because we're not being told it by government, and it's crazy. I mean, I'm naturally a worrier anyway. I do worry a lot. Massive problem with like anxiety over certain things. But even me with like my preppiness, I'm not a prepper, but I like to plan ahead. I like to get things done for such occasions. I have candles in the house. I have an axe. I have a way of burning wood. If I needed to cook outside, I can do it, and all that kind of stuff. If I needed to rough it, I can rough it. Okay, and I'd be quite happy doing that. And I would say I was like a little bit prepared for this. But even I'm starting to worry a little bit now, just because I'm yet to hear the government say out and say, yeah, we'll be good, or the government even introduce like some kind of rationing. I think rationing will be amazing right now. Just say to everyone, right, the basics: bread, milk, tinned vegetables, this, that, and the other. You're limited to 2 a week. Send everyone, ration cards via email that we have to print out. The way things are going are absolutely mental, and I can see why the panic buying is happening, because survival of the fittest, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? It's we're knocking people for panic buying, and we're having a go and this, that, and the other. But it's human nature to look after yourself. Okay, it really is. Yes, you should look after others, but it's human nature to look after yourself and look after your family. So if you're in a supermarket and you see the last tray of 12 baked bean cans, you're not going to take one. Most people are going to grab the whole tray and go, right, well, that's me sorted for 12 meals. That's my kids sorted for 12 meals. And until the government do anything about it, that's what we're dealing with. I'm just going to jump on that live chat, see what everyone says. Like this, you're glad to have allotments. Well, I'll get to that in a minute, mate. Bloody chat. Right. You can't go to the corner shop. I know, mate, it's mental. By the way, check your local Sainsbury's out. Doing a thing now. Disabled people and elderly people can go there an hour early, or a first hour, and shop for free. Not shop for free, but they can shop in peace away from the crowds. So check that out. Yeah, that's the thing. If you trusted the government, I know exactly. That's it. No, I don't trust the government at all. I think some of you, I've never made this channel political, because I know if you want to hear my politics, then you go onto my Twitter, which is just Rossman, and you'll find me, and then I'm very political, but never made the channel political. But I don't like this government. I really don't. And I'm not anti-conservative either. I've voted Conservative in the past. I've voted Labour in the past. But I really don't like this Boris Johnson government. I think there's massive flaws and links to the far right, and I just don't like it. But we'll leave it there anyway. But no, on the back to the subject of allotments, and the reason we've got allotments. Yeah, it's great. In the next few months when our food starts growing, it'll be brilliant. We're going to get potatoes, salads, this, that, and the other, and we'll be fine. What you got to remember is allotment security is now going to go through is now going to go through the roof, because if people realise we've got food on an allotment in the middle of an estate with a fence around it, they're gonna rob us, basically, aren't they? We're gonna get robbed. I'm already worried about certain things, and you know that once the food starts kicking in, and once people see us, the allotment, walking away with bags of potatoes, bags of carrots, whatever else, people are gonna go, there's food on that allotment. I haven't got any food. and you're going to find the allotments get robbed in the night. I know allotments already get. You don't have a baseball bat. I know allotments already in some areas get robbed for their food, and that's probably what's going to happen to us. I can see it happening. It depends how bad the situation gets. But I am gearing up now to grow more stuff at home in the garden. I've decided that I've been normally sowing seeds now for flowers, which I think I've spoke to you all about about 3 weeks ago in a video. But I'm not going to do that now. Well, I'm going to sow a few flowers, wildflowers for the bees and butterflies and everything. But some of my pots, which I would normally put, calendula and marigolds and this, that, and the other in, I'm not. I'm just going to grow. I'm going to grow rocket and salad leaves and radishes, baby carrots, things that I can grow and turn over quickly at home. And also because the way I'm seeing it, I just think that my home would be safer than my allotment. I'm still going to grow down the allotment and I'm still going to chance it, but I can just see it. I can see it happening, that if this carries on, you can see your allotments getting robbed of food, especially in 3 months' time when everything starts to grow, because something needs to happen with the supply chain, or the government need to introduce rationing, or they need to do something so everyone's getting a fair share, because it's already clear on social media and talking to friends and family that people aren't getting a fair share. My concern is for my chickens. Yeah, it's exactly that for me. Is people know you've got chickens and someone's going to break in, and and the thing is, people don't know better. They'll break in and they think, well, steal the chickens and we can eat the chickens, and they don't realise that they're egg laying chickens. There's no meat on them whatsoever. They're completely pointless to eat, but that's going to happen. Yeah, it's just, you can see it coming, and I don't know what to do about it, really. I don't know what to do about it. I am thinking about calling my landlord, which is a big organisation, and saying, look, while this blows over, can I have my chickens at home in my back garden? But I don't know what they'll say. They might just say no, and in which case they've just got to stay down the allotment, and hope that nobody decides that they want to eat my chickens. But you can see it's going to happen. I can honestly see it happening, and I don't think we're far away from people being. Sorry for the buffer. If you're a small business, how do you stay? How do you carry on floating with no income coming in? How do you pay your staff? And then before you know it, I can honestly see thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of people being laid off in the next 6 months, and then it'll get even worse. It's snowballing now, and we've all seen the disaster movies. We all have watched the TV programs when stuff like this happens, and we all know where it's, and that's why there has to be a firm grip on certain things like food supply, because that's the biggest one. And you can't look. It's not that I'm condoning it, but you know what's going to happen. People are going to lose their jobs. They're going to have no money. The government are going to give them statutory sick pay, which is £94 a week. They're going to have rent, they're going to have tax, they're going to have everything to pay on that, utility bills, and at the end of it, they're not going to have any money for food, and they're going to have kids, and it's like, what do we do? My kids haven't eaten for 3 or 4 days, and they're just going to turn to crime. And it's going to be a case of, right, I've got no money, I can't get food, not getting help from government, so we'll go and rob somebody, and it'll be looting and everything else. And I hope that this is just me panicking, and I hope I'm completely wrong on this, but I can't see it getting better anytime soon without intervention from government. Hospitality industry already laid off, and they got rent to pay. I know it's gonna like we're gonna find ourselves in our own version of the Great Depression. I mean, anyone who knows their history knows that obviously we had Spanish flu, which World War One, then we had Spanish flu, and then after that we had the Great Depression, when people got laid off and millions were lost overnight and people lost their jobs. And well, they've already said it's made 9/11 and the financial crisis just fall into insignificance. What this is going to cost us, as a, not even as a society, as a species. It is literally, it's affecting all of mankind. Oh, my phone's just rung. Right, I better go, folks, because this was supposed to be a really quick one to let you know how I'm getting on. I expect the looting to see looting. I mean, I know, mate. Excuse me. I know I don't think we're many weeks away from that. I think it's all it takes is a few hungry bellies of kids, and then moms and dads are going to go, right, we got to look after ourselves here. And I'm not condoning it, but I can see how it happens, because if I'd lost my job and my kids were hungry, then it's exactly what I would do. You know, you'd do anything to get food in your kids' bellies. It's just sad. So yeah, anyway, the first bit of the video, hopefully it was fine. The second bit was a bit of a rant, but you know, you take care, folks, and look after each other and look after everyone, and you know, and I'll keep you updated. It's just completely strange times, isn't it? I'm an allotment channel and a metal detecting channel and a fishing channel, and I talk about getting outside and being active, and now we're not allowed outside, and we've got a pandemic, and it's like the last days of Rome or something. Well, not quite. Little less mass orgies and drinking, but you know, I will go. So yeah, thanks, folks. All the best. See you soon. TTFN.